Welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Shaffett, along with my good friend,
Artemis Broward.
We're coming to you this week with episode 205. 205. Artemis.
Yo.
How we doing, buddy?
We're good, brother. We're good. Getting through another week. Had an unexpected half day yesterday, as so did you. For our area, Spectrum decided they wanted to act up and just not work for half the day. So,
and it wasn't just like Winston-Salem. It was Winston-Salem, Greensboro.
Yeah,
pretty sure Burlington was affected. Like I was seeing people
area
in like pretty much the whole Piedmont area that just did not have Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
and you couldn't go to the coffee shop because most of the coffee shops also have Spectrum.
Spectrum, exactly.
I called my coffee shop. I called my coffee shop, and they answered by saying, "Before you ask, no, we do not have internet." And I was like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah, no, that was a quick little Teams message to the manager, like, "Hey, probably not gonna be on for the rest of the day." To be honest.
Yeah. At first, it said like 8:30. Then it came on like for 5 minutes, and then it went back out for like another hour and a half. I was like, "Come on, man, what are we doing?"
Yep.
And like Spectrum didn't say a word.
Nothing. It just went out. It just went the hell out.
Like usually you get a text or an email like, "Hey, sorry, we're working on it. Somebody unplugged it." Right? Nope, nothing.
Just straight went out. So there's that technology. 2024. I love it.
Spectrum walked the damn plank.
Facts.
And tonight, Duke Power is out in my area. Surprisingly, one street over. Like if you're on the other side of that street, you don't have power. It's just dark. So I'm lucky my power went out earlier today, but it's just, I don't know what's going on, man. Like, are we getting ready for the apocalypse?
I don't know. People are snoozing at the job. Something's going on. I don't know what's going on, but something's going on.
Somebody give that hamster that keeps everything spinning.
Right.
Somebody give him a cup of coffee.
Something.
Like give him something. All right, Artie. Episode 205 of the Boneyard Podcast.
Yes.
Do you have a number 5?
I do have a number 5. This one is close to home for one Jared Shaffett. This is one of Jared's favorite baseball players. Some would say outside of the great one.
Frederick?
His favorite baseball player of all time. And that is one, Freddie Freeman. Yes, sir.
Frederick?
That is my number 5 for the week. I had to throw it back today. I know he currently plays for the Los Angeles Dodgers, but he made a career as an Atlanta Brave. He became a Hall of Famer as an Atlanta Brave.
I don't know if he's Hall of Fame yet.
He's gonna be a Hall of Famer. Stop playing. Freddie Freeman.
Look, I don't hate Freddie Freeman. I played it up a couple of years ago. My walk to plank, if you go back to that walk to plank, it was very much more about his agent. But no, Freddie Freeman's a all-time Brave. I see first baseman.
Slug Award winner. He's a Gold Glove Award winner. He's like made 5 All-Stars. He's got a 300 batting average career percentage-wise. He's going to finish with 250 plus home runs. He'll get to the Hall.
And he's just an all-around good guy. He's an all-around good guy. Everybody around the league loves him. Does a lot for charity. He's got a good story about like why he wears the long sleeves. Or did you read this? So his mother died of skin cancer.
I did not know that.
And so he wears long sleeves every game, like to protect himself from the sun. But it's also in honor of his mother.
Oh, wow.
So
fun fact, I did not know.
There was a good like documentary, like it was like the knockoff version of 30 for 30 back when he played for the Braves. I think it was it wasn't an ESPN thing. It was on Bally, I believe. Where they talked about his upbringing and his childhood. If you can find that, it's probably on YouTube somewhere. Highly recommend watching that, and Freddie Freeman is the way it ended in Atlanta sucks. Like Freddie Freeman should have been like Chipper Jones, should have been a Brave for life. But then he went back home. He went to LA.
LA, but you can't blame a man for going back home.
Yeah, but after you've said you want to be a Brave for life.
But that wasn't his fault that he wasn't a Brave for life.
That's on his agent. His agent's
wasn't his fault.
Dick. Which I believe he fired that agent shortly after. Like it came out that the Braves matched the Dodgers offer. So, yeah, Freddie Freeman, a good one. All right, Artie, mine. Do you know who Lou Danga is?
Why do I feel like I've heard that name? I do feel like I've heard that name, but I could be wrong.
Take a guess. Just take a guess.
Sport.
Just take any guess.
The sport that they played?
Sure.
Basketball.
Nope.
Maybe because I'm thinking of Luau Deng.
No, this person didn't play a single sport.
Okay, then no, I don't know who this is.
He was the musician behind the 1999 popular song Mambo No. 5. So that's mine. I mean, I just thought that's a song like anytime you hear it, it's just like, okay, like it's a catchy tune, right?
Yeah.
And you go to the bar, they play Mambo No. 5, and hey, I'm gonna drink to this. I'm gonna like what is it? Is it the trumpet? I believe that plays the hook. Like,
I'm sure I know this song, but like I don't know the name of it. Like I gotta hear this real quick. Like what is Mambo No. 5? How does the chorus go?
Oh, it's you're gonna put me on the spot.
I'm putting you on the spot, brother, because like I'm sure I know what this song is.
It's the one of like it goes a little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
We can't sing too much of it. YouTube will.
Yeah, I just need the chorus. That's all.
Yeah, that's. I want to make sure I got those names right. But yeah, no, that's Mambo No. 5.
Okay.
But it's one of those like classics from back in our day.
Yeah.
Do you consider that
before our day?
I was gonna say, like, but I remember riding in the car with my mom, like bopping to that.
That's true. That is true. It was played a lot when we were kids.
Oh yeah, it was the. I don't listen to the radio now, so I couldn't tell you what's on the radio. But I mean, it was honestly one of the biggest songs in that time. You had a lot of like one hit wonders.
That's true.
Josh.
Josh.
We can't hear you. I'm talking to the mic.
Sorry. Here we go. Music history.
Dude gets one mic and he doesn't know how to talk to it.
Mambo No. 5 was actually released in 1950 first by Perez Prado.
1950. That's our great grandparents' generation. Good God.
My grandfather was 3 years old.
Yeah,
you all just know the remake of Mambo No. 5. The original Mambo No. 5 was released in 1950.
Goodness gracious. Boy, that song is 74 years old. Good God.
It's funny, like there's so many songs that are like that we just know the cover of it, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. That's a lot. You look at right now, like Fast Car, right? Like that's a remake.
All good music at some point is recycled. So you're being honest.
Artie, I was texting you the other day about a song, Tennessee Whiskey.
Yes.
And that's a remake.
Yeah.
Like there's so many, right?
That's why we always say respect the sample. You gotta understand the original that the hit came from. Respect the sample.
For sure. And then you start to like think about it, and some of these songs have been remade 15 times by different artists, and each one has put their own spin on it. But Josh, thanks for that. I had no idea.
No idea. I didn't know it was that old. That's crazy.
I'm gonna have to listen to like the original. Like, Josh, send me the link. I'm not gonna look it up on Spotify right now, but and my brain will forget to do it later on. So shoot a link to the group chat. That's cool. What was it? I'm guessing it was still Mambo number 5.
It is called Mambo number 5, but it is a Mambo as in genre number 5 classic. Okay, that's what it was. It's really just an instrumental. It's really just it's all the horn line and everything else that's on the song. It's just basically the instrumental, but that was the original song.
This is why it pays to have a music like nerd. Not that's not a knock on you, Josh. It's
no, that's a
you know music. You know music.
That's a compliment.
That's why it's nice to have you on here, because I would have never known that.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find like the original on Perez Prado. You said it was.
Uh-oh.
I can't play too much of it because we'll get sued, but and Artie and I can't get sued. All right.
No, we can't. We don't have the money to pay them type of fees unless someone is gonna, represent us a certain song. But he's still fresh in the game.
Oh no, he's our lawyer. He's our lawyer. I don't care how fresh he is. He's about the only one we can afford.
Not the only one we can get. So
he's about the only one that would take on our case. All right. Shout out to the College Huddle. Lots of stuff going down. Check them out. College Huddle on Twitter. This is a conglomerate of I think we're over 100 podcasts now. We're closing in on it.
Nice.
I think there's like 7 states that don't have a podcast, and a lot of those are ones that just don't have an FBS team in them. There's 4 podcasts represented just here alone in the state of North Carolina. And it's all independent college football podcast. So check it out if you want. There's a lot of groups that are in there that throughout the season we'll be having on or we'll be talking to. And they're going to be, because there's a lot of schools in there that we honestly play this year. And they're going to be doing their previews of ECU. So it's going to be a great opportunity to maybe get to listen to some new content, even if you check them out just for a week. Mm-hmm. Lots of great content creators in there. And it's weird to say, I don't consider myself a content creator, but I guess that's what we do. So check them out. We're planning to do some more stuff as the summer kind of slows down. People get back into the groove of college football and back into the fall grind. Right now, the summer, everybody's just all over the place, traveling, whatever. So check out the College Huddle. We're really happy to be part of it.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, Artie, let's continue our position group preview. This week we're going to talk about the DBs.
Oh yeah. And
we're also going to talk specialists.
Don't forget the special teams.
All right, maybe let's start. Let's flip it. Let's start with a specialist.
Okay.
All right, we'll start out. The Aussie, Luke Larson, is still a Pirate.
He's still a Pirate. Oh my goodness, this man is still a Pirate, boy. This man got grandkids about to be Pirates.
Luke, this is what, his 5th season in the program. I think so. He's still. I think he's got another 2 years of eligibility still, though.
Hey, look, man.
Only 2 of those years counted towards his eligibility.
Brother. Ride the wave,
dude. It's just a career. Gonna spend his whole life kicking footballs for East Carolina.
We're gonna be doing this podcast in 10 years from now. Just be like Luke Larson returning for his 16th season with the Pirates, now 45 years old.
Artie, if I asked you how old Luke Larson was, would you be able to tell me?
I know he's older than us.
He is older than us.
And I want to say he's 32.
I thought it would say it on his profile, but
I want to say 31 to 32. I mean, I know he's not that much older than us, but I know he is older than us. And we graduated a little while ago.
Just looking at his pictures, like his timeline of being at ECU, like he just looks he looks funny.
Go ahead, Josh.
Luke is 32.
32.
July 18th, 1992. July 18th, 1992.
1992. That boy up there with Wash, brother. He's Wash. Good old Brian Wash. That's crazy.
He's got to be the oldest guy in college football, right?
I mean, I can't imagine somebody older than 32.
I think he was the oldest guy last year.
I mean, no, and look, we love Luke Larson. Luke Larson is
friend of the podcast.
Yeah, absolute friend of the podcast. But 32 playing college, 32 playing the NFL, Jared, is old. 32 in the NFL is old. 32 in college football. Goodness.
I mean, all you got to do is go out there and kick.
That's true. That's true. Ride the wave, brother. Ride the wave. I ain't mad at you.
Dude's going to go from playing like college football to playing in a geriatric league, like Australian rugby or Australian football. I don't know. I want you to look, Artie, at his pictures, like the last
honestly,
4 years look the same.
If we could actually look this up though, who are the oldest college football players of all time?
Didn't South Carolina State have that guy that was? I think it was a running back or wide receiver that was like in his late 40s, early 50s.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, South Carolina State had a linebacker, I believe, who was in his 40s, who came back and played in his 40s.
What year was this?
This was like recently.
2019, maybe, I think it was.
This was recent? Oh,
yeah.
Well, how did I not hear about this?
We've talked about it, and you told me that it wasn't true, and I was like, no, this is most definitely true. Joe Thomas Sr. is the oldest Division I college football player.
In his 40s.
Joe Thomas Sr. Or Josh, please pull up a picture of this man.
Well, take that, Tom Brady. Shit. In his 40s. He was out here playing with children that he could be their father, like legitimately be their dad.
This looks like Artie. This looks like a guy that you would see, like, I don't know, maybe you're at the family reunion, like you see this guy and you're like, okay, we're gonna play some football, we're gonna play some touch football, and he comes out here looking like this. Look at this.
But he can like legit actually play.
Josh, you got it?
Oh yeah, you got it. Let's see.
No, man, this is not real. This is not real.
Hey, real. Here's the thing.
No, like I'm not even trying to be an asshole. Like this had to be like a Make-A-Wish or some shit like that. Like this is not.
I'm pretty sure he played a full season.
This is not real.
He did, and he did it while his son was playing linebacker for the Packers.
This is not real. How many tackles did this man log?
He actually had one carry for 3 yards.
One carry for 3. Oh, he was a running back. That's right. You said he was a running back. One carry for 3 yards. Wow. Wow. You know, you got to be ready to take classes too. So he was in here like with children out here doing some sort of like, that's crazy.
Class, senior, no shit.
Oh,
man.
that's fantastic. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I remember us having that conversation. Actually, I think there is somebody older than Luke Larson this year. I think I was just doing some quick research.
My apologies to Luke Larson. He's a baby then. Shit.
Just looking like Matt Ganyard at UVA kicker is currently the oldest active D1 college football player this season.
It can only be kickers though, right? Because I mean, they can pull kickers from just about anywhere and have eligibility out the ass. So,
just to add a little bit more to Joe Thomas Sr.'s lore, he was playing running back at the same time that Shaq Leonard was playing linebacker at South Carolina State. They were practicing together as running back and linebacker.
yo,
Could you imagine?
yo,
Wow,
that's wild. But like, wow, yeah, that's wild. That's wild. He looked like an old man. I was kind of expecting, okay, maybe he looks.
No,
Like
he looks like an uncle.
He looked like one of my uncles that's out of shape trying to play football with the youngins. Like that's exactly what he looked like. That's crazy.
Yeah, I remember seeing that and being like, no way this guy does it. But I mean, I think he was 55. 55 years old playing college football. It's impressive. Like,
that's very impressive.
I could not play college football, and I'm 29 years old.
Very impressive.
But all right, let's move it on. Continuing with our punters, Ethan Stump. He's a freshman, so he's new to the program. Probably won't see him much. We lost a punter to, I believe he went to Austin P. Which one was that? That was why am I blanking on his name? Josh, you got it? No? Okay. Obviously didn't matter. He was the guy that was doing the kickoffs last year. You had him doing kickoffs, Conrad kicking field goals, and Larson punting. But I think he followed Tripp to Austin P. Him and like Mason Garcia. All right, kickers. It's gonna be interesting this year. You've got a little bit of competition in this kicker room. Noah Perez, transfer from Akron. Honestly, one of the, if I'm remembering correctly, like better kickers in college football last year. He comes in. You still got Andrew Conrad. I mean, he's 70% for field goals with a long of 51. Kicked 5 of them in the win over Florida Atlantic last year. That also tied a NCAA record. You got Everett Scott, best kicker in the North Carolina High School Athletic Association last season, scored 92 points, including a 2-point conversion. And then Britt Glover. So you got some freshmen in here as well, some young blood. Averaged 58 yards per kickoff and 40.1 yards per punt with a long of 54 yards. So honestly, like it's a place, it's an area where we all know, like, you don't want to leave it up to a college kicker, but you're hoping that out of these guys, somebody's going to be able to help you win a ball game, because at some point in the season, you're going to have to rely on them to win you a football game.
You're going to have to rely on the kicker. I mean,
we've seen it multiple times over the last couple of years. You make a kick here and there, you probably win a football game.
I mean, this is why Bill Belichick, one of the GOATs of not college football, one of the GOATs of coaching, period, said special teams is the most important unit. Because at some point in time, you're going to rely on your punting, you're going to rely on your kicking, you're going to rely on your special teams to win a ball game for you, whether that's putting the opposition in deep territory and making them drive 90 some odd yards, or it's kicking a game-winning field goal, or it's making a field goal to tie the game. Like, you're going to have to depend on special teams when you're playing good competition. When you play these scrubs, not so much. When we play somebody mano a mano, special teams is extremely beneficial if you got a good unit. So it's got to be a good unit.
For sure. And I mean, I think coming out, it's either Conrad or Prez's job. But my guess is Conrad's your guy until he isn't.
True.
That's just my guess.
Special teams make special teams. I love it. Right at the bottom. Josh put it in there. Can't be special if you don't have a good special teams.
Hey, no truer words have ever been spoken. I mean, you think back, we all know the Navy game a couple years ago, but you look back, NC State 2 years ago, right? You win that game, and that wasn't just on the kicker.
No, it was not. It was not. But
it
was a makeable field goal.
That was special teams, and you missed. I believe you missed 2 of them.
It was the extra point, and then it was a field goal that you missed. So
you missed a couple against Charlotte last year. Probably win that game if you hit those, right? Like now we're talking about winning close football games, and when you're playing a conference such as the American, where this year I think it's going to be tighter in the American than it has been in the last 2 or 3 years. I don't think there's going to be as much disparity between the top end of the American and the bottom end of the American.
Right.
And you're going to play in a lot of close games. Now we look at the schedule and say, oh, it's an easier schedule than last year. And yes, that's true. But you look at it and you're going to play in a lot of games that are going to come down to who has the ball last and can they execute. And one area you need to execute better at this year is on special teams. So that's my spiel. I know Brandon Avery, our legal counsel, is loving the kicking talk. He loves the kickers. So, all right, Artie, let's talk some DBs.
Let's get into it.
Honestly, like the defense is still very solid. We've talked about it, I think, every week now.
Right. One of the more experienced units. Coach Harrell's going to return.
Right, and you've got these dudes, right? Just looking at like Devin King, Dontavius Nash, I think has another like big season.
Yeah,
Nash had 34 solo tackles or 34 tackles last year, plus a pick 6. After transferring from UNC. You're also going to get some guys that are going to maybe be a little less known at times. I mean, they're going to get a chance to prove it. I think Dalen Diston is going to be a guy that gives himself a chance to prove it. Amar Rogers, guy played in all but 6 games last year, so he played in 6 games last year, and made 2 starts after transferring from Elon. I mean, we're just looking at it, and there's some guys that I think will really make a difference. Jordan Huff. I'm just looking. There's so many. IBM, Isaiah Brown Murray. Like the list goes on and on. And then Siobhan Revel. Did I pronounce that right? I don't know. I heard Mike Houston say it like that at the media days. Have we all just been pronouncing his name wrong?
I have no clue what Mike Houston said. I still haven't been able to go back and like listen to it again, but I had never heard anyone say his name like that. And I thought to myself, he's the head coach. He's been with this guy for 2-3 years. Like he has to know how to say his name. He's on the biggest stage to share his name. And
Revel was there at the media day.
Yeah, like he had to know how to say his name.
He was the ECU representative on defense.
If it's not Siobhan Revel, if it is Siobhan Revel, I just wish they would have put an E at the end because it's just proper English to me. I think Siobhan. Like
he's a junior.
So
he's a junior. I mean,
Yeah.
You got to go with what you got.
That's just me being picky.
Yeah, Artemis.
Just say,
And look,
Artemis Randall.
People like you are the reason why his dad was willing to take the money and get transferred somewhere else.
Artemis.
For those of you that don't know, Artemis is the second.
I am the second. I am not the first, as it says right here. I am not the first of my name.
No. How do you Ari, real quick. If you have a boy, you gonna keep it going?
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna keep it going. Firstborn. I've already talked with Ashley about this too. Firstborn son, Artemis Randall Brower III. That is what it's gonna be. Everybody else is fair game. We got names out the wazoo, but first.
What about Jared? Is there a Jared on the table?
There's not going to be a Jared on the docket. I do apologize. Yeah,
See, I told my wife, I told Savannah, I said, if we have a son, I'm naming him Artemis.
No, you didn't.
No, you're right.
No, you didn't. I love you, though, brother, but you didn't.
Never. I love you too, man. Yeah. Honestly, one of the best DBs, maybe I should say most underrated DB in college football. And I'm using underrated loosely because I think after this year, okay, you had one outstanding year. After this year, okay, now it wasn't just a flash in the pan. You are that dude. And the fact that we went from like having Jaquan McMillan to having him.
Yeah.
Blake Harrell's been putting in work.
He has, Brad. He was busy in the offseason too. I mean, don't think he wasn't utilizing this portal and getting out there in the offseason. I mean, this is a deep room. My biggest question is how we're going to replace guys like Julius Wood and Tegan Wilk, some real journeymen, some real guys that have been in the program for a while. Obviously, Julius Wood was all AAC, last year. So, I mean, just an all-around stud. But this room is deep, and I'm excited to see what they're going to offer.
Yeah, I think you'll be fine. I mean, Tegan Wilk didn't play. I think he played 4 games last year. I think he ended up redshirting. Tegan Wilk, friend of the podcast. I want to throw that out there.
Absolutely.
Tegan's.
Yeah. No, not really talking about his 2023 year, but before that.
Tegan's one of our guys. Yeah. You're having to replace it in the safety position, but I think you're able to do that. I think if I had to guess, you're probably plugging in like an IBM there, in one of those safety spots. And then I wouldn't be surprised if you see a guy like Aiden Duncanson step up and maybe play that role. He's got the length, so I could see it.
And as someone who played safety, I will be honest, the more important of the two is the corner position. You want to make sure that those two corners are locked down, that they are where they need to be. The safeties are important too, but you just want to make sure you have smart athletes in that backfield as at the safety position. But if we're talking about the most important of the two, corners there. And I play safety, and corners more important. So
yeah, I think you're looking at like Dontavius Nash, Siobhan Rebel. Probably got Devin King in there. I do think IBM plays a lot bigger role, even though, I mean, he had a hell of a freshman year last year. 22 tackles in 12 games last year with 3 pass deflections. Mm-hmm. So I think you're still going to be fine in that secondary.
I would agree.
So
I would agree completely.
Anybody else, Josh? Anybody that you think we're missing here? There's just how many names are here? Like 20 names.
It's a deep room, man. It is a deep room.
We should have probably broken it up like cornerbacks and safeties, but I don't think you can really do that right now with this depth chart.
Yeah, right now the ECU roster just lists them as all defensive backs. So
yeah.
But I'll say a couple of the players that I'm really looking out for this season in that DB room have to be Tymir Brown, and if he can stay on the field and stay healthy this year, Aiden Duncanson. I think those two guys. I think Duncanson kind of plays a little bit more of that almost hybrid linebacker kind of spot. Especially if he's bulked up any this offseason. But yeah, I really like those two guys out of that room to kind of burst out this year.
Yeah, I'm excited about Duncanson. He's one of the more underrated transfers that I think this staff brought in this year. It's going to be interesting to see how Blake Harrell, friend of the podcast, utilizes him. I'm not worried about this position group at all.
No, I think we'll be okay. And honestly, I think with, I know we said this a bunch, but with the schedule, the way it is, being able to kind of, I wouldn't say ease this group in, but it's a lot easier. I mean, you're not playing Michigan week 1. Right. So
the thing I'll say is, honestly, the toughest part of your schedule might be there's like a 3-week stretch there where it gets pretty tough. Having that App State, Liberty, I guess it's App State, Liberty, and don't sleep on Old Dominion.
Old Dominion's not going to be a scrub. No. If people think Old Dominion's going to suck, they haven't been paying attention. Old Dominion's going to be all right.
Yeah. So, and we all know what Liberty did last year. We all know what App State's done to us the last couple of years. So yeah, those games are gonna be tough, but I still think they're winnable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it's just my bias, even though I'm the most negative person about ECU.
I think ECU fans should be weary of the first 5 games after that Norfolk State game. Regardless what our record is after those games, each one of those teams is going to be, I feel, drastically different from what we know them as.
Right.
Old Dominion, App State, Liberty, UTSA, Charlotte, they're all on the brand new slate this season. So
yeah,
it's gonna be weird. I think it's gonna be weird.
All of those teams are going to have confidence, right? There's no reason for those teams to not have confidence. And then playing us too, they're not going to go into ECU being like, "Oh man, it's ECU." No, they're going to have a lot of confidence in being able to win those games. So
trap game,
every one of them,
every single one of them. Hey, go 1-0 every single week, and you'll be fine. And like I said, I agree with you, Josh. I think, and we'll talk about all the games as a whole.
Right.
But I think looking at it, right, just taking a step and looking at it from a non-biased view, I would say that the games, those 5 games, all of them are winnable, all of them are losable. But I think ECU could go 3-2 fairly easily during that stretch. I shouldn't say fairly easily, but I could easily see them.
Yeah.
I could easily see them coming out 3-2 from that stretch and being 4-2 6 games into the season.
Yeah. There's a reason why Phil still has us as most improved team. So,
which is surprising. It doesn't feel it feels like we did improve, but at the same time, until I see it, I'm not going to believe it.
Not going to exactly.
Now, JDB's offense and the new quarterback play, you still got a high octane running back room. I like where we're headed.
And even we talk about the defense being better, right? Even if the defense just maintains what they were from a year ago, and our offense gets a little bit better, we're going to be 4 to 5 games better than we were last year, at the very least, even if our defense just maintains.
Right. No, you're exactly right. And not only did you get better on defense, you did get better in the quarterback room, and you did get better I think, at the wide receiver position. And we'll talk about the wide receiver position over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I think we got 3 more position groups to go through. What are they? The wide receiver,
I don't think we touched
D-line,
on O-line yet, right?
and O-line. The
big uglies.
The big uglies.
Big uglies, baby.
Maybe we do O-line next week, Josh, because let's go ahead and get them out of the way.
Look, I like that we saving the big uglies for last, man. They deserve their flowers.
Hey, we can save them. We can save them.
They deserve their flowers.
That's the position group, like them and the quarterback room. If they can figure it out this year, you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it, we always say, a lot of it rides on the offensive line. Because if the offensive line isn't performing, nobody on offense is performing.
None of it works.
So, all right. Let's see here. Let's do our end of season preview. This TBA date, Josh. That's not October. Is that when it should be announced?
Yeah, that's when it'll be announced. It'll either be that Friday game or that Saturday game after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
God, I hope it's the I don't know. Saturday games after Thanksgiving, Friday games after Thanksgiving, they always suck.
Yeah, they're not the best.
Unless you're a top 25 team, they're not good for anyone.
They're not good. Yeah, no.
Like,
it's hard to prepare. People are not focused. They got their minds on other things. You know,
the fans aren't there. Like,
it's
nobody shows up to a. And it sucks to have that game like be your senior game.
And I think the biggest issue for me is that because that's also rivalry week for all the major programs, like
right.
ECU doesn't. If the American Conference, listen, if you could,
I know what you're gonna say,
just set up some rivalries, okay, or get a contract negotiation with the Sun Belt, Conference USA, whatever, to get these rivalries set in stone for rivalry week. Because the only way that we're going to get a night game that late in the season is if it's on ESPN Plus. But what if we're a marquee team? What if Navy just happens to be great and we happen to be great? We're not a real rivalry game. We're going to get tossed to the Friday,
right?
And go and be an early Friday game because we're going to want to conflict with the Egg Bowl. Like, please, that's my only ask here. That's my only ask. Do it for the seniors.
They don't care about little ECU. They're just gonna put them where they put them.
Yeah, if the American had any brains at all, they would schedule ECU Charlotte last weekend of the season every year. Like they put together these rivalries where like you've got these pods, right, of teams that are going to play each other every year.
Right.
ECU and Charlotte are the two teams or that's the game for ECU, right? So obviously the Americans trying to make that a rivalry. I don't see Charlotte as a rival yet. We played them one time. Like, yeah, we may be a rival in other sports, not yet in football. Now their fans are pissing me off enough to where I might call them a rival soon, but that's just because their fans are a bunch of idiots.
I would actually love that. I would invite that rivalry. To be honest with you, I would invite Charlotte rivalry.
We talked about this, Artie. Do you remember when we talked about?
I love the city of Charlotte. So, any excuse I can get to Charlotte.
It's mediocre.
Come on, bro. You don't like Charlotte?
It ain't the Trey.
You don't like Charlotte? Come on, baby.
It ain't
we only an hour away, too. Like, Charlotte is nothing. Charlotte is a nothing drive.
No, Charlotte's all right. But no, I think having a trophy, that could be a game where you have a trophy. Yes. Pirates versus Miners. Yeah. Like the Golden Nugget.
The Gold Bowl.
The Gold
Bowl. And it's just a golden nugget that's shaped like the one found in Concord, right? The first gold rush in the USA. And it's in a treasure chest.
There you go.
And it makes sense. Simple. Pirates, Miners, yeah, it makes sense.
Charlotte's the banking capital. Like it all makes sense, guys.
makes
all
sense.
makes sense.
Yeah.
You put a pickaxe and a saber with it.
I think that's actually phenomenal. They're not going to go with it because it makes too much sense.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
I think we workshop something and go on one of these trophy sites, and we just start it. We give it to the team after they win.
That's how great traditions start, though, right?
That's just how. Yeah, everybody forgets about the victory barrel, right? Like the victory barrel between ECU and NC State, right? That it started. It was from reading about it. It started as two brothers. They grew up on a farm together. One went to NC State. One went to East Carolina. They were very competitive, competed in everything, and it became where that was like their thing. Like they had a trophy for competitions between themselves, and it was a barrel. Well, when they went to rival schools, then they started keeping track of, oh, my school won, we get the barrel. Then the barrel got donated to the schools, to the government associations of NC State, the student government, ECU student government, and it's passed back and forth. So a lot of people forget about that. But that's how it humble beginnings, man.
Yeah.
Right? Some it doesn't have to be much. And it's something that can be built on and grow. But yeah, the Gold Bowl, ECU Charlotte. I like the Golden Nugget, the treasure game, because we're all looking for treasure.
Gold inside of a treasure chest. It makes too much sense.
Too much sense. Like I don't understand how the American fumbled that so big. Like I don't understand how they didn't make that the last game of the season every year. If you're really wanting to make it a rivalry game, that's what you've got to do. But at this point, I consider App State more of a rival than I consider Charlotte. But App State's
a legitimate rival. That's not like that's set in stone. That's a legitimate rival.
But App State's got a rival, right? App State's going to play Georgia Southern. I don't know if that's the rivalry game on their schedule, but that's their rival. App State and Georgia Southern hate each other.
Yeah, but if you ask App State fans who they'd rather beat, Georgia Southern or ECU?
Georgia Southern.
You didn't say Georgia Southern?
I almost can guarantee that they would say Georgia Southern. They feel the same. Like I don't know where it started. I don't know why, but App State hates Georgia Southern with passion, and Georgia Southern feels the same way. And maybe it's because the country music singer that went to Georgia Southern, friend of the podcast, DMs with me every once in a while, Cole Swindell. He actually reps Georgia Southern, and the two major country stars that went to App State both rep Chapel Hill.
I'm not familiar with that rivalry like that, so I didn't know App hated Georgia Southern like that.
Yeah,
I didn't know
those two schools do not like each other.
I know that hated.
That rivalry really sped up in so App State beat Georgia Southern 1987 in the semifinals in the playoffs, something like that, quarterfinals. And then in 2001, Georgia State did the same to them. And so that's been like the biggest thing that kind of tied them together until they got back in the same conference.
Okay.
The rivalry already
championships. Got you.
The rivalry is called Deeper Than Hate. That is the name of the rivalry. So, yeah, I mean it's.
I'm not an App State historian. I know a little bit about App State, but
don't worry. I'll pass on the title of college football casual to you.
No, don't do that. Don't do that now.
I'm kidding. All right. Navy. We talked all about everybody else except for Navy. Navy went 5-7 last year, 4-4 in the American.
Yeah.
The ECU has beaten Navy, I believe it's twice, and lost a lot of games against Navy, and a lot in heartbreaking fashion, and some in like getting blown out fashion. ECU's only beaten them twice, but they've never won at home. Is this the year that they do it, Artie?
If there's one thing that I know about Navy football,
God, I hate them.
No matter if ECU is incredible or ECU absolutely sucks, we can lose to Navy. we can absolutely lose to Navy. I don't care if we got a Heisman Trophy candidate. We can still lose to Navy. So that's a game that I always have circled because I do not take Navy for granted. They have just had our number for whatever reason. They've had our number, and we've beaten them in recent years, but they still have had our number. So yes,
we've only beaten them once in recent memory. I mean
it's honestly kind of insane. Yes, obviously I think we can beat. I mean, and Navy's not going to be anything to go home about this year. It's not like they're going to be that much better than they were last year, but still,
I mean they were picked to finish 11th in the American this year,
right? But I mean, they went what you said 5-7 last year. I can't imagine they're going to be any much worse than 5-7. So a game better is 6-6 in a bowl game. So like I'm not taking Navy for granted. Do I think we should beat Navy? Yes. Do I think we can beat Navy at home? Yes. But Navy is always one of those games where I'm honestly nervous about the Navy game. I don't care where we are in the standings. I don't care if we're undefeated. I'm nervous about that Navy game. I'm nervous.
I'm just looking here on. ECU is 2-9 against Navy.
Yeah,
and ECU better not have a bad day on defense when they play Navy. Navy has put up 76 against us in a game, 66 against us in a game.
Fucking track me.
Like 42, 45, 56. Like if ECU's defense is not up to par,
it's not going to
be Navy shows it. Navy shows
and
it.
Each time that we beat them, it was by a field goal.
Yeah. For whatever reason, that option, that triple option, it really gives us trouble. And Navy is always going to play you really physical and really tough. So like, and I think what we've done better at in the last couple of years is matching that physicality, that toughness. But if Navy's good or bad, their physicality is going to be there, right? So you've just got to take it to them from the opening bell. And the time of possession is a whole nother ball game when you play one of these military schools. So when you have the ball, you have to do something with it. Scoring field goals does not beat Navy. You have to put the ball in the end zone because you're not going to get the ball a lot. I don't care if you have a great defense. You're just not going to get the ball a lot. That's just how they play offense. So, yeah.
Yeah, and let's not forget, I believe ECU was up on Navy back in 2022 when, I mean, that was our best year since 2014.
Yeah.
ECU lost to Navy 23-20. Like, you can't make it up. And then it gets further like exemplified what Navy does to ECU. Navy comes out last year in a average season for Navy, right? Not world beaters, not gonna blow you off the face of the earth. They're the first team to shut out East Carolina in 26 seasons.
But that Navy game last year was like that.
I don't think I've ever been that frustrated.
I don't. There's very few times I've ever been that upset as a Pirate fan, that embarrassed as a Pirate fan, because it's not that it was just that there was a goose egg, but it was like we put up a goose egg against a team that has a losing record, right? Like this is all time stuff. This is all time stuff.
We lost 10-0.
This is like all time really bad stuff. So
like Thank God I didn't have to sit through that game in person.
Damn, Josh. I'm sorry, brother. He just posted that was my wedding day. Damn. You didn't deserve that.
It's your fault, Josh.
You
See,
muted, brother.
when I got married, the day I got married, ECU won on a walk-off field goal against Old Dominion.
Josh didn't deserve that, man. That's terrible.
I didn't deserve that. But hey, at least I didn't have to watch it. At least I was preoccupied and enjoying my life.
Yeah. That is terrible. Oh, goodness.
My wedding day, Syracuse upset Clemson, I believe.
Oh, I do remember that. Yes, I do remember that.
And then
I'm pretty sure that was in the dome too. Syracuse beat Clemson. In the dome.
Yeah. And then we were passing around the bottle, and then
I remember
ECU won on a walk-off field goal against Old Dominion, September 29th, 2018. So there you go. And I get it. Don't get married during college football season. I agree. My wife didn't agree. So, and she's the one that calls the shots.
I'm getting married during college football season. So,
Artie, we're not going to talk about when you're getting married.
Yeah. I apologize. I'm sorry, fellas. Y'all still better be there though. So,
I'll be there. I might be burnt. And
hey, look, we're gonna have the games up. We'll have everything. You know,
the game's the day before your wedding.
Well, it's the day before. You're right. It is the day before. So,
I may be really pissed off at your wedding. I may be like the happiest. I may still be drunk from the night before. We'll see.
Right.
All right, so that was week 13. Week 12, ECU at North Texas. UNT went 5-7 last year, 3-5 in the American Conference play. This will be the first matchup between the two teams ever. The team from Denton, North Texas, it was picked to finish 9th in the American Conference poll. I feel like I don't ever like to say like this is going to be an easy win. Like I don't think that. Yeah. But I think that this is one of those games on the schedule where you're looking for, okay, we need to get to a 6th win and we want to do it before we play Navy. Here's a place for us to do it.
Yeah, what I'll say is if we're out here losing the next North Texas next season, a lot of people are getting fired. And that's all I'll say about that. If we're out here losing to North Texas, people are getting fired. So that's what that is.
Mm. And the next one, I don't even want to talk about the next one. I've already got the heebie-jeebies about it. ECU at Tulsa on a Thursday night.
Mm.
We all know what happens. Crazy shit happens when ECU and Tulsa meet. It's not fun for anybody, especially if you're an ECU fan. We all remember what happened back in 2020. What were we calling it? The Tulsa screw job.
Tulsa screw job.
Like absolute. That game is what earned Mike Oresco the enemy of the podcast.
So bad that it made SVP.
Yeah. There was a whole 5-minute segment. On Bad Beats about how ECU got screwed in that game. And then last year there was some questionable stuff going on in the game against Tulsa. Was it going to change our season? No. I know that there was the picture going around of like the coach bumping knuckles with the referee and all that, which that happens, right? But like, I don't know. It just seemed ECU was doing like playing well, and then all out of nowhere, the penalty flag started flying. And it just, I don't know. Something's going. Tulsa, they may be small, but for whatever reason, they're mighty, and I guess they've got deep pockets that are lining the American Conference pockets. I don't know. I hate them. I do not like playing Tulsa.
Tulsa to a lesser degree is like a Navy. I'm not as nervous to play Tulsa as I am Navy, But for some reason, it's just like, even when I feel like we should beat Tulsa, it's like, oh, there's going to be some sort of like screw, that just happens in this game. Like something's going to happen.
Something's going to happen.
Something's going to happen, right? Something weird's going to happen. Some off the wall is going to happen that's not supposed to happen.
The fact that it's like a Thursday night
in Tulsa, Oklahoma,
like,
yeah, feels ripe for the picking to screw over East Carolina.
I'm just looking at like.
I'll say this though, I feel like Tulsa is one of those programs that really shouldn't be as bad as it is. They're in Oklahoma, like they're in such an area where even if you're getting like Texas and Oklahoma leftovers, these are still really good athletes. These are still really good players. So I don't really understand why they are as bad as they've been. I really feel like they should be better than what they are. But that's just me.
Yeah, I'm looking at this now. Maybe this is last year. Oh yeah, I'm looking at last year for whatever reason. Oh, we don't. Here we go. I'm just looking at like what other games are that night because that'll play a role in it too.
Thursday night.
Oh, are we sure that is this week 11?
I think there was another major game that night that we had talked about. I feel like we had talked about this previously.
So week 12 is actually ECU Tulsa. Week 13 is ECU North Texas. And I believe week 14 is ECU Navy. So I'm going off of what I'm on ESPN's website. That night, the only game in FBS Division 1A is ECU at Tulsa, 7:30.
That's the only game. Okay.
Only game of the night.
So we are going to get eyes that don't normally watch Tulsa, that don't normally watch East Carolina, just because they want to watch football. They're going to watch that game.
Not to mention, Artie, it'll be the second, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Week 11, ECU plays Florida Atlantic on Thursday night as well. The week before.
It's a great opportunity for recruiting. If we play the cards right, it's a great opportunity for recruiting.
The only other game that night, App State at Coastal Carolina.
That's going to get a lot of eyes.
So
that's going to get a lot of eyes.
We might end up on
at this point, especially in this region, especially in the South, those are two kind of brand names,
right,
in the South. So that's going to get a lot of eyes.
Love seeing the Maction schedule that week. Tuesday night, Miami of Ohio at Ball State. Bowling Green at Central Michigan. Wednesday night, Ohio at Kent State. Northern Illinois at Western Michigan. Love that. Love seeing that. and then you follow it up, Artie. You know what is on Friday night?
Did you say Northern Illinois at Michigan?
Central Michigan.
Oh, Central Michigan. I was like,
sorry, Western Michigan. Western Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Bowling Green is at Central Michigan. Northern Illinois is at Western Michigan. And then Friday night, Artie, ACC foes take on each other in Winston-Salem. Cal plays Wake Forest on Friday night at 8 p.m. Iowa goes wait. Iowa goes on the road to UCLA. This is college football this year.
We can have a whole podcast about how I'm so disgusted that we don't have regional conferences and regional rivalries anymore. But man, Cal Berkeley in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Do you know how absurd that is? Do you know how that is absolutely absurd? That is crazy.
I'm just looking at it. There's some decent games that week, but like none of them really do it. Georgia at Ole Miss is going to be good. Bama at LSU that week. Like, I don't know. Like outside of that, it's just kind of a blah week. I mean, Duke at NC State, but like, who cares?
No, won't be much. Duke has lost a lot.
Like the biggest game is probably Florida State at Notre Dame.
Yeah, no, if both teams are where they're supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah.
The matchup of the week.
Like, just looking at it, the schedule kind of sucks that week. You would love for Tulsa's going to be decent this year. They're not going to be bad.
They should be though. Like, to me, they don't have any excuse. That's what I'm saying. Tulsa doesn't have any excuse to be a bottom feeder. I'm not saying they should be 12-0 every year, but they don't have an excuse to be a bottom feeder. You're in Oklahoma. You have real talent in your backyard.
I'm just looking at some of these games, like these new conferences, because everybody is going to be lining up to watch Nebraska, Southern Cal. Now, that might actually be a pretty good game this year, but those are not two teams that you would see in the same conference.
Nebraska's going to be a lot better.
Yeah.
Nebraska's going to be a lot better. Yeah. I think they win 8 games this year.
I'm just looking, and then SEC powerhouse Alabama that week, week 12. Guess who they play, Artie? Week 12.
I don't know.
Mercer.
I knew they had somebody weak, like late in the, like, wow,
they always do.
That is the last regular season game for Alabama, Mercer.
I don't know if it's the last regular season game. We're getting off the rails here, but okay. No, I mean that we can keep going, but it's just looking at this.
0, so I don't know. I don't know how this thing goes, but
like, see, that's the thing.
Nobody should be playing Mercer that late in the season. Absolutely.
Artie, this Saturday, we will be 3 weeks away from college football being played.
Can't wait.
This one goes out to the sickos. Saturday, August 24th, week 0.
Week 0, baby.
Delaware State at Hawaii. Kick at midnight.
They kick at midnight. Oh my goodness.
There you go. Oh man. All right. What else we got? We got walk the plank, and then I think we can get out of here.
Let's do it.
All right. You got to walk the plank?
I do have walk the plank. It's something minor, but like something that's like, I don't know why it annoys me so much. I just don't like it. We haven't talked about the Olympic Games at all on this podcast. The Summer Olympics are going on, by the way. It's in Paris. All right. They're going on. And this whole 3x3 basketball thing that's going on. I could honestly speak to like 3 or 4 other events at the Summer Olympics that to me are not sports and should not be involved in the Summer Olympics. But 3x3 basketball is an absolute joke to me. I've watched the men play. I've watched the women play. I've watched some of these other countries play. I don't get it. It's a half court. It's 3-on-3. It really doesn't. It's not real basketball to me. It doesn't feel like real basketball to me. It feels like they're out there half-assing. And a lot of these players feel like they don't even look like they want to be there. To be honest with you, they were just asked or forced or told to be there by their countries or whatever it is. It looks stupid. It's not a sport. Basketball is 5-on-5. It's full court. That's the only Olympic sport it should be. 3-on-3 basketball. Do away with it. Ew. It sucks.
I can't wait till they add the. I can't wait till they add the basketball where they play on the trampolines. Have you seen that?
I mean, like at this point, what are we doing? Like, this is supposed to be legitimate sports. 3-on-3 basketball with a half court. What are we doing? I mean, this isn't make believe in elementary school. Little games we used to play in elementary school. Like, what are we doing? This should not be an Olympic sport. People should not be earning gold medals for this. That's all I'm saying.
All right, you've got speed walking in the Olympics.
That, again, what are we doing? Should not be an Olympic sport.
You got badminton in the Olympics.
I'm okay with badminton. I'm okay with that.
I'm just waiting for them to add
I'm okay with badminton. I'm not upset with badminton.
Add some pickleball. Like I don't know why you don't. You have
Table
ping pong.
tennis. I'm not. If you've actually seen table tennis?
Yeah, those
is intense. That's a sport.
Wild.
That is a sport.
In other news, ESPN announced ESPN the Ocho is coming back again.
The Ocho.
The Ocho.
But no, 3-on-3 basketball. Get rid of that shit. That's absurd. That's mine.
That's good. That's a good one. There's a lot of sports that I'm like, really, like this is a sport. I would have never known. But no, we need pickleball and we need cornhole in the Olympics. You laugh.
No, man, you cannot have cornhole, bro.
I am dead serious.
Anybody can play cornhole. I don't want just anybody who can.
Artie, have you ever seen a professional cornhole game?
Look, man, hand-eye coordination is not that hard. Okay.
After this, I want you to go watch like professional cornhole.
I could play professional cornhole right now.
You could not. You could not. It is.
I could.
Electric.
I could. You give me 3 months, I'm out here winning medals and shit. I promise you. I'm winning awards. If you let me dedicate my full time to playing cornhole, I am winning medals.
But nobody devotes their full time to playing cornhole.
Now, if you devote your full time to being Michael Phelps in a pool, you still won't be good enough. That's the difference. Like, that is the difference.
I don't know. I think I could get there.
No. Nope. What Simone Biles did in gymnastics, you could devote your entire life. You still wouldn't be good enough.
What about
you just gotta have
that guy from Penn State? Do you see that they're calling him the specialist? I don't have his name. Do you see him, the gymnast? Just like this guy was like in the zone. They kept cutting over to him. Like he all he does is like the pommel horse. And
I didn't see that.
They kept cutting over to him, and he was just like had his headphones in, eyes closed, looked like he was chilling. He helped the United States medal in like men's team gymnastics. And they needed him. It was like he was a closer. He's the specialist. He only does one event, and that's the pommel horse. And he's like the best at it. Yeah.
I did see the dude from Turkey that was shooting the whatever the pistol.
Oh yeah.
Was. And he just showed up, had his hand in his pocket, and was just out there just he won silver medal, like almost won gold. Didn't even take it serious.
And apparently, like after they handed him his medal, he asked where like the smoking section was. Love it. That's my kind of guy right there.
Yeah, no, that's a guy you don't want to cross.
That's a guy that like he may be from Turkey, but you get here in Davidson County and he's one of us.
If he's out here bullseye with his hands in his pockets, yeah, no, you don't.
The guy looked like he just got done with his IT job and just went up and
just casual. No, don't mess with that guy.
All right, Artie, mine. Have you heard about this story between the United States Army and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
No, this is news to me.
Oh,
what's going on between the Army and The Rock?
So the United States Army paid The Rock and the United Football League $11 million to try to increase recruiting, to try to get more people to sign up for the Army, thinking that the UFL and The Rock were the way to do that.
That sounds like an Army problem.
And now the Army is asking for their money back because after a cost analysis, it came back that this sponsorship ended up being a negative 32 count of recruits. They actually lost recruits for working with The Rock.
That sounds like an Army problem, Jared. That sounds like a U.S. military problem. If somebody smart thought that it was okay to team up with The Rock in the UFL and thought that was going to increase people coming to the military, Come on now.
The Army's seeking to regain $6 million of its $11 million payment.
That sounds like an Army problem. That don't sound like a Dwayne The Rock Johnson problem. He got paid.
Yeah. In fact, the partnership was so poor it may possibly have had a negative impact on finding new enlistments. And the cost efficiency or cost effectiveness analysis deemed that they actually had a decrease of 34 recruits.
I mean, come on now. You got to read the room, right? If you can't get the NFL or you can't get college football, which are the two driving forces in this country as far as like
you get Nick Saban in there,
football, right? You thought that you were going to get the UFL, which is just kind of a knockoff brand, just kind of like a feeler, right? Spring football, people miss football, they want to watch it, whatever. Like, how do you not read the room? How do you not know what's going on? This was never going to be a like fantastic success. It's the UFL. It was never going to be the NFL. It was never going to be close to that. It was always going to be something small, something low key. Really didn't get a lot of viewership. But yeah, I'm bored and I want to watch the UFL. Come on.
If the Army's okay with traffic violations, maybe they should hit up Kirby Smart to recruit for them.
Somebody in the office was not reading the room, and they deserve a demotion or something. They didn't do their job. 11 million?
11 million to The Rock. Apparently, he missed a couple of tweets that he was supposed to send out.
A couple of tweets, because that was really going to do it.
Like, what are we doing here? $11 million. Already, that's our tax money.
That sounds like a brilliant business move from Dwayne and a dumb move from the U.S. Army.
Can you smell
that man getting paid? That man is paid.
All right. Artie, I don't have anything else. Good episode. So we're going to keep it short, but here we are, an hour and 15 minutes in.
20.
All right. Well, that's all we got. We're only, I guess, next time we talk, we'll be 3 weeks away from college football season. So get ready, guys. It's coming. It's coming quick. I don't know. I'm excited. We play college football this year, or this month, excuse me. I'm excited.
I cannot wait. We are close. We are oh so close. It feels like just yesterday. It was like, oh my God, we got 4 more months till football. And now it's here. It is here.
This offseason feels like it went by the fastest, though.
It did go by fast.
Maybe it's because the college football game came out.
True. And anticipation, too. I think we're all excited for a new season.
Yes. So. Yes. All right. Well, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube. I don't know. I feel like it's a great watching experience. You can see Artie's expressions when I say something stupid. Subscribe to YouTube if you do. What's that?
Huh?
Did you say something?
I didn't say nothing.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm hearing things. You didn't say nothing?
I didn't say shit.
Josh, did he say something?
Thank you, Josh. See, I didn't say nothing. You hearing stuff.
I don't know what the hell's going on here. Subscribe to our YouTube. You get to see, what was the guy's name? Joe Thomas Sr. looking like the uncle.
Oh, goodness.
Get to see that. You'll get to see the visuals we get to throw up on the screen. Subscribe. If you do, you're a friend of the podcast. If you don't, Artie, what can they do?
Walk the damn plank.
Damn right. Leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast, whether that's Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, which I think is now YouTube Music. Wherever you're doing that, leave us a 5-star review. If you do, we'll love you. You'll be a friend of the podcast for life. Artie, what can they do if they don't?
Walk the damn plank.
For sure. And then also make sure you follow us on social media at Boneyard Podcast, at the Boneyard Podcast on TikTok. We're gonna be coming out with some more content as we get closer to the season, putting stuff together. Do that, and then if you don't, you can walk the damn plank. Artie, I don't have anything else. Let's get out of here.
As always, Pirate Nation, we love y'all for tuning in. We appreciate you. Until next week, y'all. Wash your hands, wash your butts. Deuce.
Peace.